In the 19th century, when smoke covered the skies of America and railroads stitched a new nation together, one immigrant boy rose from poverty to unimaginable wealth. He would become the richest man in the world. But his journey was not clean. It was not gentle, and it was not without blood. This is the story of Andrew Carnegie, the steel titan who built America and then gave almost all his fortune away. Andrew Carnegie was born in 1835 in Dunfermline, Scotland. His father was a handloom weaver. His mother mended shoes and sold small goods. But then came the Industrial Revolution. Machines replaced hand weavers. His father lost his job. The family fell into deep poverty. At age 12, Andrew saw something that would shape his life forever. His family had no future in Scotland. So in 1848, they made a painful decision. They sold everything and sailed to America. The Carnegie family arrived in Allegheny, Pennsylvania, today part of Pittsburgh. Andrew was just 13 years old. There was no school, no safety net, no opportunity handed to him. His first job? Bob and boy in a cotton factory. Salary, $1.20 per week. 12-hour shifts, 6 days a week. But here is what made Andrew different. He was hungry, not just for food, for opportunity. At night, he borrowed books from a local benefactor, Colonel James Anderson, who opened his private library to working boys. Andrew later said, "That library opened the world to me." He educated himself, and he began to dream. By the time Andrew Carnegie became a telegraph messenger, he had already learned one brutal truth. Effort alone would not make him rich, but information might. He ran messages across Pittsburgh, entering offices most boys his age would never see. Inside those rooms, powerful men discussed railroads, expansion, investments, and strategy. Carnegie listened. He observed. He memorized. He didn't just deliver messages. He studied the men who sent them. Soon, he taught himself to interpret telegraph signals by ear. While others waited for written translations, Andrew could understand the rhythm of the clicks instantly. That rare skill earned him a promotion to telegraph operator. It was there that he caught the attention of Thomas A. Scott, a rising executive at the Pennsylvania Railroad. Scott became more than a boss. He became a mentor. From him, Carnegie learned the architecture of power, how corporations expand, how influence works, and most importantly, how wealth is built not by labor, but by ownership. Scott introduced him to investing, and that changed everything. Most men work for money. Carnegie wanted money to work for him. While still employed at the railroad, he made his first serious investment in a sleeping car company. He borrowed money to do it. A bold move for a young immigrant with no safety net. The investment paid off. Dividends came in while he slept. That was the moment Carnegie understood leverage. He began investing in oil fields, iron bridges, rail equipment, anything tied to America's explosive expansion westward. Railroads were spreading like veins across the continent, and Carnegie positioned himself at the center of that circulation system. By his early 30s, he was no longer poor, but he was not yet powerful. That would come with steel. Steel was the future. Iron cracked under pressure. Steel endured. When Carnegie learned about the Bessemer process, a revolutionary way to mass-produce steel cheaply, he saw not just a new material, but a new era. He traveled to Britain to study it personally. While others hesitated at the risk, Carnegie acted. He built steel mills in Pittsburgh, reinvesting profits aggressively into better technology and larger production capacity. His philosophy was simple. Cut costs relentlessly, outproduce competitors, reinvest everything. He was not sentimental about business. If a machine could replace a man, it did. If efficiency required speed, speed increased. Carnegie wasn't building a company. He was building dominance. Carnegie understood something most industrialists did not. Control the entire chain. He bought iron mines. He invested in coal fields. He secured rail transportation. He controlled distribution. This strategy, later called vertical integration, meant he depended on no one. When competitors needed suppliers, Carnegie owned them. When markets tightened, he survived by lowering prices below anyone else's cost of production. He was feared, he was respected, and he was unstoppable. By the 1890s, Carnegie Steel was producing more steel than entire nations. But beneath the smoke of his factories, tensions were rising. In 1892, at Carnegie's Homestead plant, workers faced wage cuts despite the company's massive profits. They organized. They demanded fairness. Carnegie was abroad in Scotland, but management fell to his partner, Henry Clay Frick. Frick was hard, unyielding. He locked workers out and hired armed Pinkerton agents to break the strike. Violence erupted. Gunfire, death, chaos. The Homestead strike became one of the most violent labor conflicts in American history, though Carnegie later expressed regret. Many believed he had designed a system that made such brutality inevitable. The man who believed in progress had built it on pressure, and pressure eventually explodes. At the height of his power, Carnegie had nothing left to prove. His steel built America's railroads, bridges, and the skeletons of its rising cities. Then came J.P. Morgan, the most powerful banker in America. Morgan wanted to consolidate the steel industry into one giant corporation. He asked Carnegie what it would take to buy him out. Carnegie wrote a number on a piece of paper, $480 million. Morgan agreed. In 1901, the deal created U.S. Steel, the first billion-dollar corporation in history. Carnegie walked away as the richest man in the world. The immigrant boy who once earned $1.20 a week now possessed wealth beyond imagination. But money alone no longer satisfied him. Carnegie began giving, and he did not give small. He funded over 2,500 public libraries around the world, believing knowledge had once saved him from ignorance. He founded universities. He built institutions for science, culture, and peace. He financed Carnegie Hall. He poured money into global peace initiatives, hoping to prevent the kind of industrial-scale destruction modern technology made possible. By the time he died, he had given away over 90% of his fortune. Few men in history have redistributed wealth at that scale voluntarily. Andrew Carnegie was a paradox. He crushed unions but funded education. He cut wages but built libraries. He believed in survival of the fittest in business, yet compassion in society. Was he redeeming himself, or simply shaping his legacy? The same steel that made him rich had hardened his methods, but age softened his priorities. History still debates him. Visionary or villain, builder or exploiter. Perhaps he was both. Today, Carnegie's name stands on libraries, universities, music halls, and foundations. His influence echoes in modern philanthropy. Billionaires like Bill Gates have followed his model of large-scale giving. But his true legacy is deeper. He proved that an immigrant with no formal education could rise to dominate an industry. He showed that ownership creates power, and he left behind a question that still challenges the wealthy today. What is the responsibility of great wealth? Andrew Carnegie built an empire in steel. Then he tried to build one in generosity. And in doing so, he became more than a businessman. He became a symbol of the American age of industry. Brilliant, flawed, ambitious, and unforgettable. Like the video, subscribe for more stories, and share it if it inspired you.